Hare Krishna, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Giridhari, and today we'll be discussing a very important point of the yoga path, which is prasad or prasadam. I'm going to be talking about the importance of having your food being offered to Krishna as part of your yogic devotional path. And for that, we'll be reading a dramatic verse of the Bhagavad-gita, verse 13 of chapter 3, where Krishna talks about prasadam. So, here's the verse, 3.13. Yajña-śiṣṭāśinaḥ santo mucyante sarva-kilbiṣaiḥ bhuñjate te aghaṁ pāpā ye pacanty ātma-kāraṇāt. So this verse says, the devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins because they eat food which is offered first for sacrifice. Others who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment verily eat only sin. So here Krishna dramatically emphasizes the importance of yajña in relation to food, in offering your food. Yajña, which is translated as sacrifice, but I like more the translation offering, is a major theme of the Bhagavad-gita. From beginning to end, yoga is yajña. Yoga means offering, means making your life a loving offering to Krishna, to the world, to others through your dharma. So that's a major topic. But food especially is emphasized in this verse and in the tradition, highly emphasized as well. So you should offer everything to God, but especially food. So in food, in yoga, we want our food to have three main ingredients. So the first thing is that we want our food to be ahimsa. We want the food to be free of suffering. So ahimsa food means that food that doesn't, it's never free of suffering, right? I mean, when you pull out a carrot, you kill the carrot. You know, and when you eat a lettuce, you've killed it and you're ripping its leaves off. So there's violence there. You get the rice and you shake it and you cut it down, you cut down the wheat. So there's always violence. That's unavoidable. But what we can do is ahimsa. We can remove as much suffering as possible. So even a child can see that there's a difference between killing a cow, a pig, a rabbit, or a chicken, and, ripping up a lettuce from the ground. I mean, there's clearly a very different experience involved. There's a lot less suffering. And in terms of science, we could talk about, advanced, like the brain system and the nervous system and pain. And, we could talk about these things and say, in science, we talk about being in a vegetative state, right? We say that, that patient is in a vegetative state, so they can't feel anything. And when you go to do surgery, they put you in a vegetative state. They rip your heart up, put a new heart in, and you don't feel anything. So that's what the vegetables are, in a vegetative state. So there's much less suffering than, an animal. So that's why we avoid all animals. We have lacto-vegetarian traditionally, but these days, vegan diet, because these days we can afford to be vegan because it's easy to get B12 in capsules, so we don't need the milk products anymore. But if you have ahimsa milk, then that's also an option. So we want our food to be free of suffering, ahimsa. 2, we want that food to be sattvic food, and Krishna talks about sattvic food, not here in chapter 3, but later in chapter 17. And basically, sattvic food is food that is good for you. It's healthy, it's balanced, it's clean. Basically, what we consider today like a healthy, wholesome diet would be sattvic food. So not only do we not eat animals because of ahimsa, but also because it's not sattva, right? Animal flesh is considered tamas. It's like the worst quality, not the highest quality of matter. So a sattvic diet is, of course, if you can get organic and whole foods and balanced food and the right amount, and Krishna even says like the right amount, like flavorful, it's nice to eat, it's balanced in terms of fatty stuff, like the good fatty stuff, so just a good healthy, vegan diet. So those are the two things there. And in 3, now this is where the secret ingredient comes in, mentioned here in a big topic of the Bhagavad-gita. We want the secret ingredient of love, of bhakti. So when we offer the food, instead of just eating the food we get, because Krishna says, no, you can't do that, you have to first yajña, you offer the food. You eat the remains of your offering. What does that mean? Like remains? What, is somebody taking away? Well, you offer your food with love to Krishna. Krishna says, whatever you do, whatever you eat, he says in chapter 9, do that as an offering unto me. So we offer the food first to Krishna. We connect the food. It's called, food yoga. We first yoga connection. We connect the food to Krishna in love. So then we imbue that food with our bhakti, with devotion. And then when we eat that food, or whenever anybody eats prasadam, that offered food, it's called prasad, when you eat that food, you're eating as well this high vibration of bhakti. You're eating love. You're imbuing love into your system. And I've had, I've been eating prasadam for decades, and I've received guests, I've prepared prasad meals for, countless thousands of people. Used to do like food distribution, going to schools, and, so I've distributed prasadam to thousands of people. And it's amazing to see how people react to it, because without you saying anything, we don't give them a lecture on prasadam before offering them a meal, but people they really pick up on it. Like, there's something different here. There's what's going on here. They really pick up on this secret ingredient of love. It's fantastic. And if you try that, I think you'll get the same result as well. Try when you invite some friends over, offer your food with love first to Krishna, food that's, ahimsa and sattvic, and then see their reaction. They're like, oh wow, this something, they're going to people pick up on it. It's really interesting. So anyway, so that's Bhagavad-gita 3.13, the extreme importance of eating prasadam, because if you don't eat prasadam, Krishna explains, if you don't offer first, then he says, you're like a thief. He calls people, you're like a thief. And here he uses dramatic language. That's why it's dramatic. He uses quite harsh language here, right? He says, pāpā. Pāpā is sin. Pāpā means sin. So it's like, if you're going to be eating, you'll be eating sin. It sounds terrible, right? Like, do you want to eat some sin? No, I don't know, thanks. So you'll be eating sin. Why would it be pāpā? Why does he use this heavy word sin if you eat food that's not offered? Because, he explains, that food wasn't yours. No, but I bought it in a supermarket. No, but still, you can't make it. You make a tomato. Like, okay, you can't make a tomato. You can't make a zucchini or some rice or beans. You can't do that. These are made by nature. These are coming from God. God, if it wasn't for God, for nature, you wouldn't have anything. So it's not really yours. So you have to get that. Who does it belong to? Ultimately, it belongs to God. It's a gift from God. That's why, the Christians, they give grace. They thank the Lord for the food, which is nice. But in yoga, we thank the Lord for the prasadam we're eating. We first offer the food because it's His in the first place, and then we thank Him for being able to eat that prasad. Because if you just give grace, it's like, somebody steals your car and sends you a nice thank you note. Thanks, love the car. It's like, no, wait a second, I didn't give it to you. So first, if somebody says, here's your car, and you say, no, go ahead, you can use it, then you can say thank you for letting me use your car. But first you have to you offer it to the owner, right? Is this your car? Oh yeah, you can use it now. So we don't just give grace, we give grace after offering the food. So he uses a harsh language because otherwise you're stealing the food. It's not your food. And so it's very important, it's very purifying. It's one of the pillars, the 3T path. This channel is called the 3T path. One of the 3 T's, one of the 3 daily practices that I recommend, that are, Krishna recommends, is the transcendental food. One of the T's is transcendental food, prasada, because of this. And of course, in the tradition, the spiritual masters, the culture, you'll see that it's very important. It's always very valued, this question of prasadam. That is one great passage. We have our great guru, Srila Prabhupada. One time, he had a disciple, and the disciple was with him. And, his disciple was with him all the time. And his parents come to see him. His parents come to see the disciples' parents come to visit him in a big temple. Beautiful temple, Bhaktivedanta Manor in the UK, North London. It's still there, gorgeous place. If you can make it, you'll love it. So they're in Bhaktivedanta Manor, this amazing, beautiful temple. And his parents come to the temple, and he shows them the deities. He says, look, Radha Krishna's right there, and you see the deities, Radha Govinda, and he's shown them. So he's seeing the deities. He's talking to them. They're hearing the holy name, all these things. But then in the end, then the disciple comes back to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada says, "Oh, you brought your parents up here." He says, "Yeah, I should have." And he says, "Did you give them any prasadam?" And he says, "Oh, I didn't." He says, "Then it was worthless." He said, "Then it was a waste of time." The whole thing, you showed him the temple, he went to no. Without prasadam, no good. So Prabhupada would always emphasize the importance of eating prasadam. He would have people running after guests. No, please, you must take some. Please accept some. Have nice prasadam offered to the deities, nice sweets and stuff. So always big focus on prasadam always in the tradition. So definitely should try this every day. One of the T's of the 3T path, it really changes your life. So anyway, that's the verse. Thank you very much. And please help me sharing this video, this channel. Very hard getting views. Always suffering to get. So please help me. Don't forget to like and subscribe, of course, but also share this channel with others. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Hare Krishna.